from the time this thing has started, Summit comes into our commissioners' chambers. They've been rude, they've been pushy, they've lied to us. We know that. One of our commissioners asked 2 different executives from Summit, will this be used for enhanced oil recovery? They both said no, this is going to be sequestered in the ground. It won't be used. And a third Summit exec that was in our commissioners' chambers giving us a presentation was asked that same question. And finally, that guy said, maybe some of it will be used for enhanced oil recovery, but probably not. Just the other day, there was an Associated Press news article, and they got into the discussion of Summit Carbon Solutions and how this affects North Dakota. I was suspicious of all the places to pump it in the ground. Why are we going to pump it in the ground in the Bakken oil field in North Dakota? I said, this just seems foolish to me that that's the place we're going to pump it in the ground. I know a few people that work in that oil industry, and I've asked them, I said, what is the limitation? Because we were told when that was discovered, I believe that we were told as the citizenry that there was 100 years worth of oil for the United States of America in the Bakken oil field, but every bit of it has to be fracked. So these people that I talked to that are in that oil industry and work up there, I said, what are the limitations to fracking up there? They said, we truck the carbon from Colorado and we just can't get enough water. And it immediately pieced the puzzle together for me.
Thanks.
We're going to take water and carbon from 5 states and pump it in the ground in the Bakken oil field. It's taxpayer-funded fracking assistance. I said if they would have been honest and presented that to the people as, hey, if you'll let us put these pipelines in, we will guarantee you $30 a barrel oil for the next 30 years or 50 years, this pipeline would be built already. So many people say that these people are not to be trusted. Just follow the money. Look who benefits. Just look who benefits. You'll figure out the rest of the answers from there. From the very beginning, I have said, I'm going to dig my heels in for that very last landowner in Han County that doesn't want that pipeline on their property. I said, they make elbows for pipes for a reason. Go around them. You know, this idea that we're just going to go right straight through, and if whatever of yours is in the way, tough luck. I've just got no time for that kind of people, that kind of pushy, arrogant attitude that we can't even move that pipe a little bit. As a county commissioner, I think this pipeline is a bunch of foolish hooey to begin with. Government should stay out of the way of people's, private property and rights. And when it comes to private property and rights, our Constitution guarantees individual rights and liberties. It doesn't guarantee corporate rights and liberties. It just doesn't. And so each of these landowners has the right to say no to this thing. And I when they keep talking eminent domain, I've got no time for it. If they're allowed to use eminent domain, I feel like it's a test moving forward as to how far can we go abusing eminent domain. So I gave an example to some of the legislators, and I told them right up front. I says, this is just an example. So you've got old farmer Joe over here in his bib overalls that has old machinery, and he grows 150 bushel corn consistently. And you've got the new young guy across the road with all of his high-tech stuff, and he grows 225 bushel corn continuously. So he grows 75 bushels to the acre every year, more than that old farmer that's got his ground all paid for and his machinery's all paid for. He's happy, he's doing what he wants, he's producing food for people. Let's apply the idea or the ideal of eminent domain for the better good of all the people. Isn't that what eminent domain is about? It's a cause that's for the better good of all the people. So I asked the legislators, so at what point does that young farmer that grows 75 bushels more every year per acre get to go across the road and tell that farmer Joe that I'm gonna farm your ground, I'm gonna go to court, I'm gonna get eminent domain to farm your ground, and I won't own your ground, I'll farm it, not like I actually own it, but I will farm your ground every year. The jury in the court will decide what just compensation is. Just compensation is part of the wording of eminent domain proceedings. The jury will say, well, cash rent in the area is this. We're going to give Farmer Joe $200 an acre every year, whatever it is, and that young man is going to farm that ground because it's for the better good of all the people that we grow 75 bushels to the acre more instead of 150. And every legislator that I posed that example to, they said, well, that's ridiculous. And I says, is it? I says, if so, if that's ridiculous, where then will you draw the line in the sand as to how much abuse of eminent domain you're going to allow? There has to be a limit to the abuse of eminent domain. This pipeline is outright abuse of eminent domain. There's elbows for pipes. Go around. They should not use eminent domain. They should have to negotiate a route. Not eminent domain is just a terrible idea for this, and I think the precedent that it will set moving forward with the abuse of eminent domain, as long as somebody can line their pockets, there won't be an end to it. There will not be a limit to it. Summit has built something already in South Dakota. They have built camaraderie against or within all of these people that are in this fight. So they have built something already. They might not build a pipeline, but they've built something.